NLP. So let's talk about why we're here. I know that some of you are here because you are curious about becoming life coaches. Some of you may be curious about the NLP element of this course, and perhaps you're just feeling stuck or overwhelmed and ready for something new. You want a breath of fresh air to come into your life and shake things up. So this workshop is definitely going to help. Many people come to life coaching as a second or third career because they're feeling stuck in a job and they're feeling unfulfilled and unhappy, and they might be at a crossroads. They maybe have explored counselling and psychotherapy, but for some reason those disciplines didn't feel quite right. And also, they don't want to go back to university for years. So it's time to love your career. Life coaching wasn't just a career change for me, it was a personal transformation. It helped me to move from feeling stuck and unfulfilled in a career that I didn't like to living a life with purpose. I used everything that I learned to transform my own life, my personal life, my relationships, my finances, and my career. And here I am 17 years later today, a full-time private life coach and the founder of the Courage Coaching Academy. So if you are fed up with feeling stuck, or perhaps you're just curious about learning more about how you can change your life and career and become a professional life coach, then this workshop is definitely going to help you. So what are we going to learn today? What is the plan for this workshop? Okay, so we are going to talk about exactly what is life coaching and what exactly is NLP. You'll get an in-depth understanding of what professional life coaching really is. You're going to understand how it's different from therapy and counseling and how it has its own methodology. We're going to talk about why you need an accredited qualification and what kind of person makes an amazing life coach. So is this something that's right for you? I'm also going to talk to you about what it really is like to be a life coach. So what does life as a life coach really look like? And we're going to talk about things like how much you can charge, how do you build a practice, and how do you grow your practice? And I'm also going to talk about what role NLP has for life coaching and why it's so important, and the biggest mistakes that people make when they go down this path and how to avoid it. And I'm also going to share an interactive and really cool life coaching tool with you that you can use straight away in your own life or with friends and family, or if you're already a counselor or a psychotherapist, you can apply this with your clients too. And I'm also going to show you at the end of this presentation a really cool NLP technique which helps us make decisions and helps us overcome procrastination and use our innate motivation. I use this all the time with my clients and it's really powerful. I'm also going to talk about then, of course, the program and the path to qualifications. So we're going to talk about how the course is, the commitment required. I'm going to talk about what you will learn, how it's delivered, how long it takes to complete, and of course the cost involved. We're going to also talk about how you pass and of course the accreditations. And at the very end, if this sounds like something that you want to do and you like my style and presentation, I'm going to give you a discount code which is valid on anyone that has been on this workshop, and it's a discount code for £200. So you're going to get that at the end. So if you do want to sign up, you do have a special code that you can access, which is available on also on any other offers that we might be running at that time. Okay, so that's the plan for the workshop. Now, what's next? If you at any time want to sign up for the main program, you can go online at ninamadden.com/learn and you can place a deposit and you can sign up for the program there. And if you at any time want to speak with me or one of my associates, you can book a call, and that is at ninamadden.com/book a call. So before we dive into the content, you probably want to know who I am and what my credentials are. So my name is Nina Madden, and I've been a practicing life coach in London for 17 years. I have a full private practice with a wait list, and I love every day of it. I'm ICF accredited at PCC level. I'm an NLP master practitioner and internationally accredited trainer of NLP, of hypnosis, and of coaching. Life coaching, as I mentioned before, wasn't just a career change for me. It was a total personal transformation. It helped me move from feeling stuck and unfulfilled to living a life with purpose. Becoming a life coach with NLP opened doors to a huge array of different kinds of works with different types of people and different issues. So, for example, I worked for Refuge, the domestic violence charity, for several years. I've worked with executives, with young adults, and many people who pursued career paths and got stuck because they didn't make the right choices for them and they want to change and they really didn't know how to create that change. Not only am I a coach, I'm also an EMDR therapist, and I've worked extensively with trauma, childhood trauma, PTSD, CPTSD, etc. And I'm mentioning this variety to you because I think it's important when you do a training course or when you're learning that you're learning from someone who has a breadth and depth of experience. So I think that's really important because when we're teaching this, we're working with individuals and every individual is unique. So the fact that I have 17 years of experience and thousands of hours behind something that I'm teaching and I'm using this in practice, I think is a really important factor to consider when choosing a training. So that's why I'm mentioning that to you. Okay, so let's have a look at what is really life coaching. And let's start with a story to kind of illustrate this. So one of my clients, Vanessa, she's given me permission to share her story. She came to me and she was in a long-term relationship with someone who had asked her to marry her. So from that, she developed panic attacks and anxiety. So she contacted me because of the NLP element of coaching, and she wanted to figure out what was going on because in her mind, all she ever wanted was to get married and find the love of her life and the soulmate. She was really, really kind of into that. So we could take different approaches with that, right? So let's say that she went to a psychotherapist, and the psychotherapist, let's say if it's a psychodynamic psychotherapist, will perhaps talk about her childhood and the difficulties and the relationship that she has with her parents and the patterns that she experienced. And of course, when we do that, what we're looking at is we're looking inside and we're kind of asking the question, which is the wrong question to ask, in my opinion. We're kind of asking the question, what is wrong with me? Right? Have you ever been in that position where you felt unhappy or anxious and you kept asking yourself, what's wrong with me? Well, that is the wrong question to ask. So let's say that she goes to a CBT therapist. Now, if she goes to a CBT therapist, he will ask her about her thought patterns around it and give her exercises that are designed to change her thoughts. Because the idea behind this type of approach is that we're making mistakes in our thinking. So if we could just think differently, we would be feeling differently. If our thoughts weren't there, and our thoughts are fact, and that's true, our thoughts are not facts, but still it's this idea that somehow I'm doing something wrong in my mind. And so I will try then to censor my thoughts and have different exercises, maybe rubber bands where I snap myself every time I have a negative thought. But again, it's the wrong question. It's like, again, this question which is assuming that something is wrong with me. Let's say that before she went to that life coach, she went to her GP. Now, her GP might say, ask her this questionnaire with 16 questions and say, Vanessa, I think you're depressed. Or perhaps, Vanessa, you have anxiety. Here's some medication. Here's some tablets that you can have, either antidepressants or beta blockers, because you have anxiety. So again, it's like we're looking at it from a medical problem. But let's say instead that we goes to a life coach. The life coach asks her in a safe and non-judgmental way, Vanessa, what is it that you really, really want? And I mean, how often do we have someone in our lives that actually is prepared to sit down with us and to listen and to ask that question without any judgment, without thinking that something is, you're doing something wrong inside your mind, that's asking you, what is it that you really, really want? People tend to be so busy, telling us what it is we should want. So I guided her through an NLP technique where she got to meet her older and wiser self. It's an NLP technique that's built on the idea of timelines, where she got to go inside and meet with her older and wiser self and take advice from her older and wiser self. And her older and wiser self told her not to act out of fear, but to act out of possibility. She came out of that exercise completely confident, completely certain, and she knew that she was going to break up with her partner. Now, there's a mistake out there to think that life coaching is something to give people advice or to tell people what to do. But who are we to give someone an advice about whether they should stay with a partner or break up with them? That's a complete, we can't do that, right? That's completely impossible. So what we do as life coaches is we facilitate, and this is something that you learn on a real coaching training, a coach training that's actually delivered by someone who knows what they're doing. You learn the methodology to get the person to get to those places where they have those insights which are authentic, true, and important and valuable for them, for their lives in this situation. Because we don't know, we're not experts on the client's lives. The client is the expert on their lives. So this is an example through a story and what we did with Vanessa and her kind of challenge of feeling anxiety. The minute she came out of that exercise, the anxiety was completely gone. She knew she had to make some difficult decisions, but she knew completely that those decisions were for her. Have you ever had that experience where you're trying to make a decision and you ask everyone around you to give you advice or to tell you what to do, and you get all the advice, but you still can't act? That is because we're not connected with what is authentic and true and right for us. And as life coaches with NLP specifically, we guide the person to make that connection with themselves. It's really something amazing. So let's really have a look at what is life coaching. Well, life coaching focuses on the present and the future. So life coaching isn't about going around in circles and digging up the past. It's forward focused and action oriented. A life coach will sit down with you and listen non-judgmentally and ask you questions such as, how do you want to live? What do you really want? What inspires you? And life coaching helps you create change and identify goals and create those goals. It supports you to make those goals happen. So that's the job of the life coach. The life coach is there to help you to change what is not working for you and to make those changes that's going to help you create a life that is going to make you happy. And they will help you understand what's important to you and how you want to live. And really, it's about creating that life that you want to live for yourself. So as you go through the training, you will be doing this for yourself and also for your clients. So you will learn exactly how to do this. So there's a real difference you might have noticed in the belief system of life coaching versus psychotherapy, because psychotherapy believes that you are a product of the past and that what happened in the early years really set and shaped the present. And this is an assumption which is actually quite absolute and can also be quite disempowering, because we know that it's never too late. And life coaching believes that you are more than what happened to you in the past, that you're not just a product of the past, but you are actually more resourceful and more powerful than anything that has happened to you. So, as life coaching with NLP, we believe that you have a soul and you have a free will and you have resourcefulness in the present moment. So, it doesn't matter what happened to you in the past. We don't have to go and dig in the past in order to make changes and to be happy now. And life coaching and NLP is not just concerned with the practical changes like changing your job or losing 30 pounds or moving countries or getting into a better relationship. It's really involving the patterns and the things that go on inside of you. So your limiting beliefs, your thoughts, your system, everything that you have within you. But with NLP, we access the unconscious mind, and with life coaching, we can make those changes, and we understand that you're not bound by the past. You can actually leave the past behind you and move forward into life and to create a life that makes you happy and proud. So what I want to do now is I want to share a tool with you from life coaching, and I want us to do it together because it's really cool. And if you want to, you might want to pause the video so that you can do it. But I got loads of cool stuff to tell you after this, so don't get stuck. You can always come back to it. So this tool is called the Wheel of Life, and it's a way of looking at. It's a way of taking a snapshot of what is kind of going on and the areas of life that you're happy with and that you're not so happy with. And then it's a tool to look at where do we really need to make the change to affect the whole of our life. So what we do with this tool is we take a piece of paper, and then what we're going to do is we're first of all going to draw a circle. So quite a big circle in the middle, and then a little smaller circle in the middle, like that. So it kind of looks like this. So we start off with a circle like that. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to think of 6 to 8 areas of our lives where, if your life scored a 10 out of 10 on all of those areas, you'd feel pretty good. So these types of areas are up to you. What's important to you is very subjective. So it's got to be up to you. Sometimes you see this thing pre-produced online and they've set the areas of life for you, but I don't like that because we're all different and different things mean different things to us, right? There are different things that are important. So give you some ideas. For example, it could be your home environment could be really important. Your career. I'm assuming that a lot of you are here because you may be looking at a second or a third career. You want to do something different, and it's never too late. I have people on this course who changed their careers in their early 60s, and I think that is so admirable. I'm 52 myself, although I did change when I was kind of in my mid 30s. But we have people from all ages and sometimes very young people as well, and they also make great life coaches. So we have a home, I have career, it could be important. Finances are important. It's difficult to be happy if you're worried about your finances and you're worried about where the money's going to come from to pay the bills. So finances can be important. Relationships, of course, are important. It's very difficult to be happy if our relationships or our friendships we're not doing well in that area. And family can be important. So whatever the areas are for you, you want to think of 6 or 8 areas. Now I've got home, career, finance, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that for me, it's really important to learn and to grow. So I'm going to put learning and growth on there. I love studying. I love learning new things. So I'm going to put that down. I put relationships that usually kind of concerns my friends, but sometimes people like to split it up. So they have friendships in one category and romantic relationships in another one. For me, it's really important to be kind of self-expression and creativity. So I draw and I paint and I write. So I'm going to put that down as kind of creative. I don't really know what to call it. Creative endeavors, maybe. So I've listed them out. I wonder if there's one that's missing. Home, career, finances. Contribution is actually really important as well. When you're contributing to society and you're contributing to your community, then you're helping others. It makes us feel part of something bigger, and that can be really important too. So I'm going to put that down, contribution. So I've listed out in pink here the different areas. So hopefully you are doing that alongside of me. And then what we do is we're going to divide the circle into equal pieces. So it becomes like a pie chart. I got 1, 2, 3. I've got 8. So we're going to divide it into 8 equally spaced pieces. So it becomes like that. As life coaches, we work with our clients on any of these areas. So I have worked with my clients on improving their finances. Actually, health and wellness isn't on my list, so that's quite an important one too. I've helped my clients lose 30 pounds of weight. I've helped clients progress in their careers, grow their businesses, improve their relationships. So as life coaches, we can work on all of these areas. And with the ICF accredited training, what you get is you get that fundamental core training that allows you, that gives you a ticket to work with all of these areas. And then what a lot of our students do is that they may do short courses where they specialize or they continue with their professional development because they want to kind of go more into certain areas than others. But you may do a short course in youth coaching or finances or relationship. So anyway, we've got equal pieces of the pie. And then what you want to do is you want to take each of these areas and you want to think to yourself, how happy am I with that area right now? Like if I was to give it a number from 0 to 10, so a scaling question, how satisfied am I with this area? So for me, home, for example, it's about 7. I love where I live, but it does need a little bit of repaint and a bit of jazzing up because I don't think we've done anything here for 10 years almost. So you want to put little markers. If this is going to represent the home area, you put little markers here. So 1, 2, and each one of them becomes like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So my 7 comes like that. And then let's have a look at career. Okay, again, I think I feel like I'm kind of at a 7. I wish I had more time in the day. So that becomes a 7 again. Finances, my finances, I would say, are an 8. Yeah, I don't want to be self-congratulatory, but I think my wheel is looking pretty good at the moment. Relationships, actually, I am struggling a little bit with some there, so I'm going to give that a lower number. So I'm going to give that a 5. And so what happens is you allocate these, you can kind of go home, career, finances, relationship. You're kind of going and you're starting to fill in this wheel. So I'll give you a few moments to carry on and we can do it together. A family, I would say mine is about 5. Learning is good, 6, 7. And contribution is good. And creative is about 5. I wish I had more time to do it. So as we have this now, we get a snapshot of where our life is at. And when I did this the first time, when I learned about life coaching, when I discovered life coaching in 2007, I was like, oh my God, because my finances was like a 1 and my friendships was like a 10. And what happened there was I was able to see, oh my God, I put all my time into hanging out with my friends and none of my time into perhaps setting goals for myself that would improve my financial situation, or doing budget or planning or any of that thing. So you can really start to see, once you've done this, where you are putting your energy, where you're putting your time. And if one is very low, is there a relationship between perhaps the time that you have been spending on this and the number? And remember, everything that we put energy into grows, right? And one of the fundamental concepts of life coaching is that we are the creators of our world. And this is a really powerful switch. Once you start to discover that you have the power to make changes through your decisions, you actually start to be more influential over your life and over your world. And then you can start to make changes. So if there's any area here that's low, are you perhaps feeling disempowered in that area? And if we were all together now in a workshop, I would give you some reflective questions, and we would be discussing these reflective questions together and exploring this. So some of the questions I want you to ask yourself is, am I feeling which areas, or am I feeling disempowered in any of these areas? How am I spending my time in these areas? Am I spending more time? Should I spend more time in another? Would that be better? I also want to think about questions such as, which area could have a huge positive effect on the rest? Is there something I can fix here that could have a huge impact on the rest of my life? Right? At that time, again, when I was did this for the first time, I was in a flat share in Notting Hill, and I was sharing with people who were very much into partying, and that was really fun when I moved in. But I had changed, and I realized that my home environment was really having a negative impact on everything else in my life. So by being able to identify that, I moved, and then moving, it changed my life completely. I had much more choice over who I was spending time with. Had much more choice over my own time. So sometimes when we fix something in one area, it spreads to the rest of our lives in a really positive way. So that's another prompting question. And now I'm going to give you two things that I do with my clients, and it's a choice. So I'm going to give you one piece as homework and one piece to do right now. So the one piece of homework is, I want you to go home and use your imagination and think to yourself, if each area was a 10 out of a 10, like absolutely amazing, what would I see that would tell me that that area was a 10? So what would I visualize? What would I be seeing around me that would telling me that this area was a 10 out of a 10? So that's the homework. So that's quite a big piece, right? You might have to go and have a cup of coffee, bring your journal, and reflect on that. And the second thing, which I'm going to ask you to commit to right now, is, what is one or two small action points that you could take that would make an improvement in one of these areas, that you could take between now and, let's say, the end of the week? Like two small things. It could be making a phone call. It could be responding to an email. It could be just a tiny thing that, if you did it, would make an impact, a positive impact in one of these areas of your life. It has to be small, and you have to commit to when you're going to do it before the end of the week. So write that down, that action, write when you're going to do it, and sign your name by it. And then I know that you've committed. So this is a tool that has a huge potential, and we can use in lots of different ways. So I hope you enjoy this. It's a great little life coaching tool. Okay, so let's go for what's next. So who makes a great coach is one of the questions that I asked in the beginning, and it's one of the questions that I get a lot on my discovery calls. So I think the first thing is, you have to have a genuine passion for connecting with other people and exploring the things that matter in life. So do you love having inspiring conversations with people and looking at how we can make our life better or live more authentically? Do you love exploring and thinking about those bigger questions in life? The second thing is, do you have a passion for personal development? Do you love reading self-help books, personal development books? Do you love watching things on YouTube? Do you love these ideas to help you improve your life and to get more out of life? And the third thing is about having a passion to apply these tools and having a passion for changing your own life as well, not just being motivated to help others, but also really enjoying that process of seeing how great can you make your own life. And the final piece is, are you excited about the idea of being independent? So not working for someone else, not putting your time, energy, and effort into building somebody else's business, but to be completely independent in your own life and to create a career that you can take with you anywhere in the world. So if you fit those criteria, like you love connecting with people and exploring inspiring ideas, you love personal development, and you love the idea of being able to help others in meaningful and impactful ways, you're really motivated by this feeling that you want to contribute and you want to help others, and you're also excited about being an independent business owner or an independent coach that has a career that you can be in the city, in the countryside, on the beach, take with you anywhere in the globe, then I would say coaching is really for you. So here's an example of the testimonials that you might receive. I could never have imagined that Nina's treatment would be so powerful and successful. She has removed so much pain. I have been able to finally put certain things to rest and certain experiences to bed and no longer feel the guilt and anguish about them I carried most of my life. It's like a big weight has been removed. I feel like 1,000 ghosts have been put to rest. So I've talked a lot about NLP, and it's really important to have NLP as part of your tool bag as coach. The abbreviation NLP stands for neuro-linguistic programming, and it's a form of applied psychology which is very powerful, that originated in the 80s in the University of Santa Cruz in California. And by using NLP techniques such as the older and wiser self, I was able to help Vanessa, for example, to shift from a state of fearfulness into a state of courage. And I'm sure you agree that we can't do this in a conscious, rational way. There's no amount of conscious talking to a client that's going to help them shift out of a fearful state. But NLP works with the power of the unconscious mind. And in our unconscious mind, we have so many resources and such infinite wisdom, but we just don't always access it. So NLP helps us get to that much deeper level to access that wisdom and that internal resourcefulness so that we can make a change that is really profound and impactful. Now, many people go and just do coaching courses, and then they come on my course, which is a combined ICF accredited coaching and NLP, because they miss that NLP piece. So there's so many powerful examples of how NLP can help and has helped my students. For example, one of my students, her daughter was really struggling with anxiety around her exams, her GCSE exams. And my student used the NLP that she'd learned on the course with her daughter whilst she was still doing the course. And her daughter transformed this anxiety and aced her exams. She used NLP with her son as well, which had a real problem with reading. And she wrote to me later saying that he was reading something in church and he had done such a great job. You get this whole toolbox or bag of tools that will help you help your clients think deeply, change perspective, overcome anxiety, overcome self-limiting beliefs, have interventions for that, You have people overcoming imposter syndrome and overcoming phobias. Okay, so here we've got, remember Vanessa, the signal there of anxiety was to go deeper. The anxiety wasn't the problem. The anxiety was there to help her go deeper, to seek the real truth. So in the next session, I did a timeline technique with her, and she got insights into how she wanted her future to be. And she came out of, after we had about 5 or 6 sessions together, and she came out and she said, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to LA and I am going to be a matchmaker. And then she actually disappeared. And a few years later, I got a very long letter from her. And this is what she says. So she says, as a direct result of our very first session, I left my boyfriend who wanted to marry me and who I had been living with for years. Then I realized I wanted to be a matchmaker in LA. I ended up finding an amazing opportunity with an elite matchmaking agency and scaled the business. We were then bought out by Match.com. She actually had shares in this matchmaking agency. So I bought a condo and I went to a party on the roof where I met the love of my life. I'm so happy and have been meaning to thank you for such a long time. Your sessions were pivotal in determining my next moves. I can't thank you enough. And she got married to this person that she met on the roof of the condo, and they have since had 2 children. And that's actually just a snapshot from her Instagram there, from her wedding. So I thought to share this with you because this is what life coaching and coaching with NLP does for people. So it's incredible. This is the reward of having this as your career. So what we're talking about, we have to talk about the importance of accreditation. So it's really, really important to have a proper accredited ICF coach training before you start practicing with clients, and to make sure that you're practicing in a safe and ethical and professional way, because coaching has its own methodologies and we're here to facilitate this growth. We're not here to tell people anything, but we're here to facilitate this growth, this personal power, this empowerment, this autonomy, authenticity. And with NLP, we help people go really deep into our subconscious mind. And these tools are incredibly powerful. So it's very important that you have a professional training so that you can practice safely and ethically with your clients, so that you don't end up harming them, for example. Because I'm mentioning this because this should be so obvious, but unfortunately there are some myths circling around and some people are sharing this misinformation, fake news, that you don't have to have a training to be a life coach. This is absolutely fake news, because you cannot practice something that you don't know what you're doing or how you're doing it. So what we're going to talk about next is what it's really like to be a life coach. And this includes the business side of things. So how much can you charge? Where do you find clients? How do you become successful? How do you build a practice? How do you grow that practice? And how to practice ethically and safely with your clients. And I'm also going to talk about the membership boards and the accreditation organizations, which are important. So when I started 20 years ago, nobody really knew what life coaching was. But the thing is, things have really changed. When I say that I'm a life coach today, I really get a lot of positive reaction. Like people say kind of, wow, that's great. And I really need a life coach. I can really feel the change and how the value of life coaching has become, it's so much more respected today than it was before. And there's a lot of demand for coaching right now. I have a waiting list, for example, and I've been fully booked for several years now. And what I noticed was that more and more people are seeking life coaching because it's not as a replacement for therapy, but they have issues and they have challenges in their lives, let's say, and they want support and they want help, but they feel they don't want psychotherapy or counselling. They don't want to just go back into the past. They want to be able to find constructive solutions to these situations that they have in the present. And because they become more familiar with coaching, very much through corporate coaching, it's become more the norm. So I find I have a lot of clients that are really successful in their lives, but they understand the value of dealing with things like stress or anxiety or pressure. And I absolutely love being a life coach because every day is different. You have a new client, a new problem, new goals, new aspirations. And it's just wonderful to work together with people to help them achieve their dreams, their goals, and their aspirations. I've had clients who got married, who launched businesses. Take Laxmi, for example. She had a corporate career in NBC Universal, but she felt like she had a book inside her. So we did sessions, and she decided to resign from her successful corporate career to write books. And she published her first book, and then she published a whole series of books, and she's now a best-selling author in young fiction, young romantic fiction. She's written over 20 books, and she's really successful. So this is what is kind of so fun with life coaching. You get to help people to achieve their dreams. So in the next bit, we're going to talk about life coaching as a career and how much you can earn. It goes without saying that ultimately the level of success you achieve is up to you. You have to take action, and you have to be strategic and set up your own business. Part of the program that I provide also gives you, there's a bonus module which is about setting up your own business and how you do this without wasting time on Instagram and things like that. So what is life coaching as a career really like? Well, the most amazing thing is the fulfillment that you get from helping your clients. And that's the thing that means that I think I would be doing this even if I wasn't getting paid. I want to share with you a testimonial here from one of my clients. She says, going to see Nina was one of the most unexpected and positive experiences I have ever had. For the first time in my life, I finally realized that I did not have to live with the limitations I had unknowingly set for myself. I think NLP works so well because with guidance, you finally realize that you have the power within yourself to affect your situation. Through Nina's excellent guidance, I had found my inner strength, and things that before seemed impossible are now achievable. I feel like a whole person for the first time, and I can withstand anything that life throws at me. Knowing what I know now, I cannot believe I waited this long before I decided to get help. Life is precious, and everyone deserves to live without limitations. And I completely agree with that. So let's have a look at what is the career and business as a life coach really like. Okay, as a life coach, you have several options. You can work independently, like I do, with your own business and your own portfolio of private clients. You can work for corporates or companies where you're hired by the HR directors to work with their staff and to coach them. This means that you might go into an office once or twice a month, and other companies have a panel of coaches where you become part of that panel. And when the partners or the senior directors need someone for coaching, they get to pick who they want to choose from that panel of coaches. There are so many different careers. So Faith, for example, she was one of my students. She says, Nina's training has been the best investment I made in time and money. It helped me grow my own business, Spark Escapes. And I'm showing you her because she lives on a beach in Thailand, and she coaches people from that beach to help them to escape the rat race. So it's people who want to set up a very alternative life somewhere else outside of corporate. Mariana, she's from Rio. She used the program as a personal development tool, and she says the program was amazing from the first day to the last. It was eyes-opening to my own soul. Liz is a manager in domestic violence, DVIP manager, and she says, I have completed work with 2 clients and got such a buzz from the final sessions when they had clearly achieved what they wanted in such a short period of time. They were so grateful for my coaching. It was a massive confidence boost and helped me confirm how much I want to do more of this in the future. So what I love about being a life coach is I am my own boss. Okay. I do fulfilling and important work. I can work from anywhere in the world, the beach, the city, the countryside. I set my own schedule and I can be creative in designing workshops and retreats and programs. What are the steps to having a successful life coaching business with NLP? Well, the first thing is obviously we have to complete high quality accredited training, because this training will give you the foundations, the skills, the tools, the knowledge that you need a solid platform to build a successful career on. Then we set up a simple website. This website will go out on directories and on listing sites. And then one of the things that I teach is to set in place an active referral system. So I teach a system for that, to create referrals and using your current network. So that's the kind of bridge. And we have a workshop on how to bridge your coaching training to being a professional coach. There's a workshop on that, which is available for my students, obviously. And it's one of the important things is using any current network that you have. If you have a current network, it doesn't mean that you have to have one, but that's one of the ways. And another way is to consider paid advertising. You don't have to put a lot into advertising, but if you put advertising in the right place, not Instagram, but the right place, then you'll have a really high return on investment. And the other thing to do is to consider to put yourself on the many listing directories out there. So those are the simple steps to creating a business. But most importantly, when you have a solid training and you get that qualification, you know that you're adding value to the client every single time that you're working with them, and you're really creating those results. So that makes you get those types of referrals and testimonials that I've shown you. Once you have that creates then the word of mouth effect, because you're then building your business based on the results that you're providing for people. And you don't need that many clients. It starts to become this ripple effect. And before you know it, you get this sort of critical mass effect. Okay, let's look at the financial side of being a life coach, because of course this is really important. Now, first of all, I just want to say, don't come to life coaching if you're looking for a quick way to make money. Don't come to life coaching if you're looking to make 500,000 in your first years of business. That's just not what this is about. It's really important that you're driven by this internal motivation, that you have compassion, you want to help people. And if you have resonated with everything that we've spoken about in terms of empowering people, being that positive force, helping them to improve their lives, not go around in circles and talk about childhood, but about developing and growing and achieving dreams and aspirations. You want to be that person. How much can you earn? Because of course that's interesting. As a life coach, you'll start at around £100 an hour. This is because you will be having NLP and life coaching, and both those trainings are accredited with the major accreditation organizations in the world. You have a high quality training. This gives you a ticket to enter the marketplace and to charge a certain amount of money. So on the low scale, maybe 85 or something like that. On the higher scale, as soon as you start working with executives and corporates, it's quite natural in the UK, normal, to charge around £200, £250 per hour. So let's say you're not working in corporate, because let's be conservative. Let's say, would you have 5 hours to have inspiring conversations with people? Could you manage 5 hours a week? Maybe there's like 2-3 evenings. Maybe there is a couple of hours on the weekends, or even less than that. But let's say, can you imagine doing 5 hours? One client, £100, that's £500 extra per week in your life. So that's 2,000, actually it's a bit more, £2,500 extra per month. And if we're looking at 11 months, or let's say we're looking at 50 weeks, it's £25,000 extra in a year. Now, we're just talking very conservatively here, but also want to point out that one client is not just £100. It's one client might stay for 6 months. Let's say they stay for 10 sessions, then that one client is worth £1,000. So when you start your business, if you just get 5 clients and you're working with them between 10 to 20 sessions, you already regained £5,000 to £10,000 just by having 5 clients, 5 hours a week, where you're having conversations, interesting, inspiring conversations about life. So that's a conservative look at what you can earn as a life coach. And as I mentioned, you can go much higher than that if you're working with corporate or if you're working in a different context. So I think that's pretty good, even though I don't want anyone to be driven by this desire to make money. It's just an important factor. Okay, so now let's really talk about the program here. My program is the ICF Accredited Diploma in Life Coaching with Advanced NLP, and the NLP side of the training is also accredited and approved by the biggest organization for NLP worldwide, which is the ABNLP. So who wants to create a career for yourself where you're changing lives? Let's look at what you get in this program. Okay, you get a personal transformation. You use what you learn in the program to become the person that you really want to be and to transform your life into a life that makes you proud. You are going to acquire the most powerful skill set to transform your clients' lives in the same way as you're transforming your own. And you're also going to create a new career for yourself where you are helping people every day, where you have independence, you have freedom, and you make a good living too, as I've just shown you. So let's have a look. This is the course, which is really the pathway to your transformation. So like I mentioned before, it's not just a course to learn to help others, but you'll apply it to yourself as well. So you can use this course as a pathway to a new career, or you can use it to change your own life. So what do you get? You get the prestigious ICF accredited diploma in professional coaching. This gives you a qualification with global recognition and credibility, because the ICF is the International Coaching Federation, which is considered the gold standard for coaching worldwide. So you'll learn the most valued coaching approach globally. You're going to get your advanced NLP practitioner certification. This is a powerful toolkit which sets you apart in the coaching landscape, and it will help you to work with your client's unconscious mind. So you'll be able to change unwanted behaviors, emotions, resolve conflict, and more. You get 3 months of dedicated ICF coach mentoring, providing you with this invaluable guidance. I have to put my glasses on again for this. You get 3 individual mentoring sessions with your ICF coach assessor. You get 12 months access to beautiful and comprehensive learning platform. You get the prestigious ICF and ABNLP and ANLP accreditation. And you get an intensive training, which is over 5 to 8 weeks, depending on the schedule. And you'll qualify fully and ready to start your own business in about 5 to 6 months. So throughout this program, you will learn how to become a successful life coach with advanced NLP with your own portfolio of happy clients. You'll learn deep, impactful NLP techniques that get to the heart of the unconscious mind and help your clients overcome their most difficult challenges. So let's talk about how it's delivered. You get immediate access to the learning portal. So that is where you log in and you'll have all your manuals, your reading lists, your links to your live training, and your pre-learning audios there. And that will help you really get ready and prepare for the live training. Then you join the boutique trainings. We have limited capped numbers at maximum 12. And you'll learn in an intensive way the tools, the method, and techniques over a period of 5 to 8 weeks. And that depends on the scheduling. So It can be 5 weeks if it's intensive. If there are bank holidays or half terms, we make allowance for that. So then the training can spread out a little bit more. The training is always twice a week. It's 2 days a week from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And I also have weekend options. So more on how it's delivered. You get ICF coach mentoring. So you join 3 months of group mentoring where you coach and you observe and you get feedback and you hone your coaching skills to prepare you for the final assessment, and you get support from your ICF coach mentor. You have independent coaching assignments. So you will be coaching independently and in peer groups where you're observing, giving feedback, receiving feedback, being client, and practicing the coaching. And throughout this, you're keeping a reflective, what's called a reflective learning journal, which is a guided reflection on what you've learned and how you develop. So you'll really see your development. Now, you are assessed by a final recording, and this is an amazing confidence boost because, of course, if you were to fail, you can resubmit. But this is such a confidence boost because you, after going through all of this training, you're going to do a recording, which you have learned how to coach, and it's going to be assessed by the ICF. And so as you pass that assessment, you will then know that you now have the ticket. You're now considered by the ICF to be coaching at that globally recognized standard. The learning reflective journals capture your insights, your learnings, your understandings, and what you've done to develop that. It's really great. It's a really interesting process. And many of the students continue on with that reflective practice after they've qualified. So you help yourself to continuously grow as a coach. So that's how it's delivered. Now, let's talk about my teaching style. So my teaching style is interactive, it's hands-on, where you practice your coaching and NLP from day one. You'll be in the room of 12, but then you'll also be in breakout rooms where you have activities, you have reflective rounds, you're going to use the tools that you're learning on yourself to transform your own life and experience the power firsthand. You're going to reflect on what did it do for you? What did it mean for you? And that's such a huge and important part of your learning. Well, there are some books as part of the curriculum, of course, but it's not like you're going to learn by rote and memorize. It's so much in the doing. You'll learn the models and then you'll be doing them, and then you will see for yourself how powerful these models are when you implement them in your own life. You're going to be learning by doing, reflection, discussion, and practice. It's really, really amazing. And you qualify fully ready to start your own business in around 6 months. This depends on, if you don't hand in your assignments, you're not going to qualify. So that's something we can't control. But most students have used this kind of time frame to hand in their assignments. So with ICF accredited coaching and ABNLP accredited NLP, you can work in any niche, such as life coaching, personal performance coaching, executive coaching, health and wellness coaching, and more. So it really gives you the core foundations, and then you can then go and start your coaching business with this and choose where you want to work. And you might want to experiment. So here is a testimonial, another one from Gemma, who did the course a little bit back with me. So she says, "Hi Nina, it's definitely been a journey and still continues to be. Here's a little breakdown of what I am doing at the moment." So I'm sharing this with you because I think it's interesting for you to know the different ways that people can take this course. So she's coaching educational leaders globally, Australia, Singapore, UAE, and Dubai. She's coaching business owners in the UK. She's got a 6-month bespoke program of support for Specsavers. This includes leadership coaching for the top team, one-on-one and group coaching. She's doing CPD sessions, which include NLP for all staff. She does online group coaching programs in the UAE. Her pilot program is called Nurturing Pastoral Leaders, and she's expanding this to include different leaders within the educational sector. She's also launching across 3 different time zones. She's doing online training programs for heads of physical education titled Coaching for Leadership. And she says, I'm currently developing more programs for them. I also have a lot of things in the pipeline. I am just at the start of my journey, but I am excited about the future. It has taken time, patience, highs and lows. I'm not there yet, but I'm heading in the right direction. Your course prepared me both personally and professionally to get to where I am now. It enabled me to do some deep work on myself and provided me with a springboard to grow and thrive in a way I never thought possible. It was the best therapy I could ever have asked for. And she puts an emoji in there. I use the course content nearly every day. I'm constantly diving back into my notebooks and manuals. They form my course creation and allow me to provide leaders with the tools and techniques they need. Very happy to talk to any prospective students that you might have. So I'm sharing that with you so that you can get inspired and see where you can take it. Okay, so the total value of what you get. So you get ICF accredited diploma in life coaching. The value of that is 3,900. There's no VAT on it. The value here is set with comparable competitors on the market. So you do coaching with any of my competitors. The minimum you're going to pay is about 3,000 and it goes up to 8,000. And I'm comparing now, obviously, only with ICF accredited coach providers. Accredited, it's not much worth doing it because you're going to have to come back and retrain because you're not going to really be taken seriously in the marketplace. You got an advanced NLP practitioner certification. This includes content from both NLP practitioner and master practitioner. It's the best out of the best brought together into one course, and that's the value of 3,900 again compared to comparables of my competitors in the market, because I obviously know what everybody's doing. You got hero's journey, metaphors, archetypes. These are modules that I've added because I found them so powerful for transforming my own clients. They're not normally part of coaching and NLP, but I just found them really powerful and helpful. And with the hero's journey, we get to flip the victim narrative and also apply that to ourselves and to see how narratives, the story we tell ourselves, can be disempowering or empowering, and how to flip the lens on life and piece together the pieces through a different lens and look at that from a hero's journey perspective. You get 3 months ICF coach mentoring. The value of that is 1,800 again compared to competitors in the market. 3 months I said that. 3 one-on-one coaching sessions and 12 months of access to the learning portal. So the total value of that was 11,500. Normally the investment is 5,700. That's the regular tuition price. But I have an offer now, which the code, which will give you £200 discount. It's only available for 6 people and then it runs out. So that's all automated. So if you go onto the website, you sign up and it allows you to enter the code, that means that there's still availability for it. If those places go, you just won't be able to enter the code. Now, to apply, you go to visit ninamadden.com learn, and you can go on to the website and you can sign up with a deposit. That secures your place on any of the cohorts that you want to join. You can also book a discovery call, and then you go to ninamadden.com and it's /book a discovery call, and we can have a chat before you sign up. I have an additional bonus module, which is how to set up your own business, and I'm throwing that in for free. It's valued at 1,200. And of course, we're accredited and approved. I'm internationally accredited trainer of NLP, coaching and hypnosis through INELPTA, which is the most rigorous training organization. Your NLP training is accredited by the ABNLP, and we're members of the ANLP. And your life coach training is accredited by the ICF, which is the International Coaching Federation. So how do you sign up? Go to ninamadden.com /learn. Discovery call. You go to Nina Madden, you book a discovery call. So I wanted to share with you an NLP technique the end of this presentation. So what I'd like you to do is, as you go inside and you close your eyes and you're noticing that you're standing on a place of a decision-making place, and you have a fork in the road in front of you, and one road goes off in one way and the other road goes off in another way. And what I'm going to ask you to do now is you're going to go down the left side of that road and you're going to project yourself 6 months into the future. So allow yourself to float out 6 months into the future. And this future is a future where you haven't made any changes. You haven't taken any actions and you've not done anything differently. So see what you see around you 6 months in the future where everything is the same. And see what you see. Notice those images around you, big, and hear what you hear 6 months in the future. You've not made any changes. Notice what you feel and notice what you're saying to yourself. Now I'd like you to project yourself 18 months into the future. Actually, why not 2 years into the future? Still, you've not taken any action. You've not made any changes. But you're 2 years in the future now, 2 years further down the line. See what you see around you where there's been no change. Hear any sounds and feel what you feel. And notice how you feel about yourself 2 years in the future. You can now go 5 years into the future. Again, the same thing, you've not made any changes. Notice what you feel 5 years in the future. Notice what you see, what you hear, and notice what you're feeling about yourself. Notice what you're saying to yourself. Now, leaving all that out there, knowing, come all the way back to the present moment. And as you stand on the present moment with your eyes still closed, resolve to make the changes that you came to make, or the decisions that you came to make. Now imagine yourself having made that decision, having made that change or taken that decision, which means you take the first steps on that change. Now see yourself 6 months in the future. See the consequences of having made that decision. See the ripple effect. See what you see around you. The picture's big and bright and colourful. You made the decision and you started to make some changes. You started your path on this journey. Notice how you're feeling having started. Notice what you're saying to yourself. Then take yourselves 2 years out into the future. Notice now the further ripple effects of the decisions that you made. Notice what's going on around you. See those images big and bright and colourful. Hear the sounds around you. The ripple effects of having made the decision. Notice what's going on around you 2 years in the future. See what you see. Notice what you notice. How do you feel about yourself 2 years in the future? What are you saying to yourself? Now take yourself 5 years into the future. What's going on 5 years in the future? Notice the consequences of the decision you made. Notice the ripple effect. Notice how things changed. Notice the opportunities that became available to you 5 years in the future. See what you see around you. Images big and bright and colourful. Hear the sounds attached. What do you feel 5 years in the future? The ripple effect of everything that has happened as a result of making that decision. And what are you saying to yourself? Now leaving all that out there, knowing that it's yours, come all the way back to now with your eyes still closed and choose which path you're going to go down. You're going to go down the one of not making change, or you're going to go down the one of taking decision and making change. So that's it, guys. You can all come back out and open your eyes, and I am here for the next steps if you want to talk to me, or if you want to go and sign up to the program.